comprehend, you speak, or whatever. If you have that ability, God gave you something. He gave you something because you're here for a reason.
Exactly.
I was asked, a question was posed to me years ago, like when I visited this one church in Tulsa, and the speaker, Dr. Miles Monroe, was there. And he asked the question, where do you think the richest place on earth is? And a lot of people got to thinking, and raise your hand if you got, if you think you know. Okay, called on a couple people. Somebody said Egypt, somebody said Africa, blah, blah. He said, yeah, all those is good. Somebody said America. Yeah, I was like, yeah, but he said, y'all all wrong. Yeah, you all wrong. Whatever you're thinking is wrong. He said, the richest place on earth is the cemeteries. The graveyards is where all the buried treasures. Okay? When we talk about people who were, were blessed with certain types of gifts, maybe to write books or invent something or maybe have a cure for, a cancer or a disease or something that they never did anything with. They were given that, and they lived, and they died, and they didn't give nothing back to the people. Mm-hmm. You didn't use your talents. You didn't use any of your talents. Even if you just got one. That's why, listen, that's why Trump is a billionaire. That's why Bill Gates is a billionaire. That's why your favorite musician, your artist, or your favorite actor or actresses are multimillionaires. It's because they use the gifts that God gave them, because he said, be fruitful and multiply. You're supposed to produce. You're supposed to produce. Yeah. If you don't produce nothing, then you don't get nothing. You're dead.
Very true, brother.
Putting your hand out, or say, hey, this ain't enough. We need some more money. You ain't produce. That's not how you. You gonna always be upset
if you're not producing.
Now, if you're producing something, you know what I'm saying, and you're not getting nothing back, then you need to look at, okay, well, what is it that I'm producing, or what? How am I presenting this? You ain't doing nothing. Just going to work, punching a clock, and then you're producing what? A paycheck. We can't wait to get income tax fees to come around. Well, we can't wait till holidays so we can go out and, buy a bunch of BS, to try to appease people. We're going to debt. Then you can't wait till you get your income tax in because you want to go buy a car, or you want to put something on that debt, on the credit card and all that other kind of stuff. Instead of putting some money to own something. People don't look at owning houses. You don't own land. There are some folks. So one of my drivers the other day was saying how her mother owns a house and supposedly owns land, but she don't own the mineral rights. And they don't found some oil or some gas underneath her property.
And she don't get nothing from it?
Well, I don't. If she doesn't own the mineral rights, no, she won't. But she may be able to make a deal because I know when I was in the oil field doing inspections, we went on people's private land and stuff that had wells out there. What they would do is they'll present a deal to you, and you could be getting cut a check, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 a month because they'll pay you a percentage of what they pull out of there. Just for allowing them, and they they got the little area marked off. They come in, boom, they respect the property, whatever, whoop to whoop. They inspect, withdraw, whatever they do, and they up out of there. And every month, as a matter of fact, a friend of mine, her parents retired, but they have 2 oil wells on their property, and they get $10,000 a month, period.
Just for having the property, yeah.
Period. You got an apartment, you got a car, you put money down, you want to throw you some rims on it, throw some beads on it, but this and that, you want to boost your wardrobe up and all that stuff. Dude, it's nothing, it's worthless. That's why those people are not threatened by you, because you have no power. That's not power, bro. That's nothing but a show, a facade to, you know what I'm saying, to go out and what? Get some attention, you know what I'm saying? You sap some young lady, you know what I'm saying, out of her, you know what I'm saying, out of her skinnies, and you leave her with a kid, and then you off to the next one destroying, you know what I'm saying, somebody else's life. That's not power, bro. You know what I'm saying? What I would like to see happen. Now, I'm on, you know, because you know, I'm on my king stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? I'm elevating my thinking. You know, I'm challenging myself to go to higher levels.
You have to,
if you will. Okay. So what I would like to be able to do is what you and I do it already. But if there, you know, I look, you know, probably, you know what I'm saying, no more than probably like 5 other men, you know what I'm saying, men with a common goal or agenda, if you will, initiative in mind, that where we can have what I would call some round table meetings, you know what I'm saying, and start making some power moves. But we have to start planning and get strategies developed first, and we have to start being able to produce things.
And not just strategies, effective strategies.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Bit by bit. Now, stop looking, you know, living on this pinky in the brain world domination mentality. See, that was cartoons. That's BS. This is real world. That is just, like I said, get up. That's not gonna happen. You're not gonna muscle these people around. You're not. You're just not gonna do it. What you're gonna do is hurt your community. You're gonna run businesses out there. People that are brave enough, or you know, with you, and they got stores or you know, providing products or services in your community. You know, you're hurting those same people that's in your community. Now you run all the business out of town. Where you got to go? Where you going to get your stuff? Now you got to try to get on the other side of town. They said, no, you can't come over here.
Now what?
Or they say, we'll let you in, but you got to act this way. Well, they got what it is you need. What you going to do?
Act that way. If you don't have an alternative.
Dude, we dependent on, everybody is, for the most part, is dependent upon someone. Dude, where you get your food at? You know what I'm saying? Your beef, you know, your chicken. Where all that stuff come from? Your milk. You know what I'm saying? Your paper towels. We don't own paper mills. We don't have processing plants. Dude, that's why I say until they get a real plan together, bro.
They're not listening.
They ain't doing nothing but just talking, man.
That's why nothing has changed. Because it's not forced to change.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I feel you, brother.
Get you something that you can call yours. There are laws. Yeah. Watch how the laws work for you. If you got your own property, the police just can't come up on your property without a search warrant. They can come onto your property legally by federal law. They just can't trespass. That's called trespassing.
You're going to need a warrant to see that.
Yeah. But you can't do that in an apartment, you know, or in a cul-de-sac, because you don't own that. You might own that house. They say, okay, yeah, you own the house. Now get your house off my land.
Right. Because you have homeowners association.
Excuse me? What you mean? Get your house off my land. That is your house, right? Yeah. But this is my land. I need you to move your house off my land, or I will move it for you. What you gonna do? That's what I'm saying. People are not thinking things through. They're just acting off of emotions and this and that. Dude, the anger is not channeling that way. It's not gonna get the results that you. I mean, it might get the results that you want, but I would say that it's gonna get you all the results that you don't want.
Nice.
Because I'm gonna tell you right now, you don't make guns, you don't make bullets, and the little pistols and them assault rifles that you may have on deck. Okay, yeah, that's cool, but it's nothing up against the military.
No, you're going to run out of ammo eventually. And if they say they're not giving you no more, what you going to do?
Dude, we don't have armored tanks. You know, we don't have missile defense. You know what I'm saying? You don't have RPGs. You don't have mines and grenades and stuff like that. You don't have that. Dude, they can shut your communications down, and you can't talk to nobody.
Just like that. Kill a couple of
towers. They can shut you down.
Kill some
That's what I'm saying. With a button, they don't even have to touch it, man. So stop, y'all, stop, man. Just quit. Just chill, man. For a minute, just chill.
So
and
maybe
just focus on what
maybe that's
you
what
can
the lady
do.
meant this morning when she said we got a long way to go. Maybe that's what she meant, because you just listed off a whole laundry list, right, of stuff that needs to take place before you can say, you know what, I'm going to plug in, it's a wrap, we going to do our thing, right? So maybe that's what she meant, because there is so much to do to break. Again, you're talking about a whole system, man, that brought you in, that said, okay, you here, and now, okay, we got to include them. Do we have to include them? Okay, here, go on, here. Get this amendment and go on about your business. You know, get this legislation and go on about your business. But we ain't really got to do nothing. You know, we ain't really got to force it into place. Just do this and keep it moving. And so we talking about a whole system that for years and years and years have had you just this way, that way, not progressing, not moving forward. Honestly, the separation and all that stuff, it works. And that Willie Lynch syndrome and all that stuff, it works. The reason being is because if we've been so oppressed and so down and so downtrodden for so many years, how come all that ain't brought us together? How come we still killing over 300-some folk in Chicago on the weekends? How come the gang activity with folk just see another brother because he got another certain color on and kill that person and life don't mean nothing to him? If we done went through so much, we done went through all this for all these years, and we still got a long way to go, and you just listed off a whole bunch of stuff we got to do, why we don't love it no more? Why we don't love each other more then? Why we don't just use that as fuel to bring us together more?
Well, the thing about, the coming togetherness, man, it just, it's never going to be, I'll put it like this, I'll change it up. The only way that mankind, and I'm not saying man, I'm talking about all of humanity, the only way all of humanity will come together, okay, as one, as if something else comes from somewhere else to invade this planet. That's it. And it's because whatever it is or whatever it may be, because it don't look like us, it's foreign, it's from another planet, another universe, whatever. That's the only time all of humanity will ever come together as one, because then they're facing annihilation.
So a common enemy.
Let me say that again. Facing annihilation. That means that you are to be wiped out. They don't care what color you are, what your heritage is from, what you whatever. That you are not us, and we are going to kill you.
So a common enemy.
Or them, a common enemy, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Other than that, you're gonna always be some kind of division somewhere, because for the most part, you have people that don't know how to compromise, and then you have people that are not willing to compromise. When you understand that no one source or one has all the answers except for the Almighty Himself. It's one God. He is the only. It's it. Other than that, we're different for a reason. I was dealing with something very minor earlier, right before the show, and I was, thinking about, well, how can I do this? And he was like, well, hey, just do that. I was like, oh, snap. You know what I'm saying? Something so easy. You know what I'm saying? But, okay. But that's how we should be working with each other. Say, okay, well, I'm different. Okay, I'm a Republican and you're a Democrat. We related. Or we friends, or whatever the situation is. Okay. We're not finna, it's not when we see each other, it's all on sight.
Yeah, I know.
No. We can have healthy discussions or debates. That's how you learn from each other. I don't have all the answers. You don't have all the answers. Nobody has all the answers. But regardless, at the end of the day, no matter how much you want to separate yourselves, you still gonna have to do business with people outside of your little, your little circle or community, your little box, until you can produce absolutely every single thing you need.
Everything. You're right.
If you can't do that, then you got to deal with somebody else.
Yeah.
You're going to have to.
Yeah, you got to deal with it, man. That's the reality of it, though, bro. That's the reality of it, though, man. That's what I like. That's what I love about Think About It Radio. We bring the reality of it out, and then force us and other people to think. Because at the same time,